Well, if there's anyone I can trust, it's a stranger at the gym holding a dirty needle. Here, Stewie, try this. Yeah!
It's no secret that the industry has faced allegations and controversies surrounding the use of performance-enhancing substances, including steroids. And throughout its history, sharing their personal experiences with steroids and the pressure to maintain a certain physique in this highly competitive world. So today, we will be taking a look at some of the wrestlers that have either come forward or have allegedly taken any substances. Starting the list with one of the most shocking wrestlers at the time was Hulk Hogan. Back in 1994, WWE owner Vince McMahon stood trial after the US government accused him of distributing steroids to his wrestlers. Surprising to many fans at the time, it was one of Vince McMahon's top stars that stood up in court and openly admitted to the steroids abuse within the company. Hulk Hogan testified in the 1994 federal trial that not only had he taken steroids, but he had been doing it for 14 long years. Even going to say when the steroid orders arrived at WWE headquarters, he would pick them up along with my paycheck, fan mail, or whatever.
When I got in the business, the guys were huge, larger than life, and the steroids were illegal at the time.
Considering his position within the company and being the face of WWE at the time, you can somewhat understand the pressure he was under. And the same can be said for another top star at the time, arguably one of WWE's biggest stars of the late 1980s and early 1990s, partly due to his amazing physique, the Ultimate Warrior. He was on top of his game, even managing to capture the WWE title against Hogan at WrestleMania 6 to become the first ever champion to hold both WWE and the Intercontinental Championship. But like Hogan, the pressure and culture of the business gets to you. When thousands of fans are screaming out your name week in, week out, it can mess with one's mind. In the end, the Ultimate Warrior was let go by WWE in 1992. At a time, the government was investigating them for drug use. Vince McMahon stated that the Warrior's experimentation with growth hormones was the reason he was let go. However, Warrior in many interviews and court exposed the WWE, stating the following.
I think steroid thing, talking about it, is a catch-22, so I won't even go there with it. I think there's a certain level that athletes reach where they have to make a conscious decision as a mature adult whether they're going to play by the rules it will take to be the best in the world.
And whilst many consider the early 80s and 90s the peak of when the steroid abuse had been going on in WWE, you would be mistaken. While the trial did eventually stop the rampant abuse of roids, WWE stopped supplying it to their wrestlers. This subsequently just ended the era of horsemen and brought forward a new generation of wrestlers like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, who were similar but more agile and technical wrestlers. However, in an industry with larger than life characters, one's physique is an integral part of standing out from the crowd.
You are technically correct.
One such superstar who rised up the ranks very quickly was Chyna. She made her debut in WWE in February 1997 as the enforcer for the villainous stable known as D-Generation X. With her muscular physique and imposing presence, she quickly stood out among the other female performers at the time. Chyna's physique and ability to compete against male wrestlers set her apart and garnered attention from fans and critics alike. But many would argue her body went through two transformations whilst in WWE, one being potentially when she had been using steroids. I mean, just look at her image. The jawline is a bit of a giveaway, and like others, she started in bodybuilding very young, where PEDs are very common. The other being when Chyna wanted to soften her appearance early in her career to advance it. Chyna took time off from the WWF in 1999 to have breast enhancement surgery, a nose job, and her jaw shaven down. She wanted to come across as more feminine, which could have been one of the side effects from the roid abuse.
You don't find that suspicious?
Tragically, China passed away due to heart problems, which are common issues with both long-time steroid users and wrestlers dying young. So whilst not proven, it could have played a part. But considering that Vince McMahon openly admitted taking the stuff, it would make it hard for others to say no. Vince McMahon admitted to steroid use in the 80s, whilst under oath during his 1994 federal trial for distributing steroids to his wrestlers. And at 77 years old, McMahon's physique far defies his age. I wish I would look like that at that age, bro. I don't even have that physique at 30 years old. So the issue with his physique was probably most prevalent in his 2002 Royal Rumble match against Ric Flair. McMahon walked out like a beast, and in comparison to the Nature Boy, considering Ric Flair was 53 and Vince was 57 at the time, it's hard not to notice the gear he may have been on. However, he has denied any steroid use ever since the trial, but with a physique like that at his age, McMahon is not fooling anyone. Similar to this was the case for The Rock. He admitted in a 2009 interview trying steroids back in college, but apparently that's when it stopped, allegedly.
You sure about that?
But since his debut in 1996 as Rocky Maivia till 2001, The Rock never really had a physique worth shouting about. Sure, he looked great, but in comparison to the other wrestlers around him, he just looked average at best. But there may be one moment in his career where fans may have remembered when The Rock briefly wore a shirt and track pants back in 1999 instead of his usual black trunks and pads. While some may have thought it was part of the badass gimmick, but the truth is, The Rock had man boobs.
You're gonna need surgery on your face just like you had it on your boobies.
He admitted to having surgery in the 90s, a procedure sometimes called a moob job, and the shirt was just to cover up the scars as he recovered, since at the time he was on the rise. It should be noted that having gyno is a common side effect of steroids, where men experience growth in breast tissue. So considering where he is now in his career and the body he has, I don't think anybody had any doubt whether or not he may be using it. However, it's important to note that a wrestler's appearance isn't always telling of their PED abuse. One wrestler that may surprise many of you watching the video right now was Umaga. He had a successful stint in WWE, although he may have never captured any world title. However, he did have memorable feuds with the likes of John Cena and CM Punk, and he probably will be remembered the most for his Battle of the Billionaires match against Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania 23. But ever since Eddie Guerrero's death back in 2005 due to the substance abuse, WWE wanted to take a stricter approach to any sort of drug abuse in WWE, and they introduced the wellness policy. This subsequently ended Umaga's run due to his use of anabolic steroids and growth hormones. In 2007, he and other professional wrestlers were reported to have purchased pharmaceuticals from an online pharmacy, which violated the WWE's talent wellness program. And a second incident occurred in 2009, with a refusal to get treatment meant his release from the company. Tragically, he passed away in 2009 at the age of 36 due to a combination of heart disease and failed liver. The abuse of PEDs has been linked to heart disease and when people have an enlarged heart, which could have contributed to his heart problems, right? So another wrestler that admitted to using was Triple H. He was said to be taking medical steroids in 2002, only as prescribed by doctors to help him heal from an injury. So whilst Triple H's physique has varied over the years, it remains impressive, and rumors are to believe that he may have gone off the juice when he and Stephanie McMahon started a family, and it showed over time. The game seemed to lose mass and even started showing a bit of gut. This was around 2004 when he started up the stable evolution. It is worth noting that WWE has strict rules and testing procedures to ensure that wrestlers do not abuse performance enhancing drugs. However, former WWE stars because Ryback and Scott Steiner both claim favoritism due to his family link, stating Triple H has never even had to do a drug test. Scott Steiner went on to say the following.
"Oh, we really want you, but we want you to take a drug test." And it's like, that was basically my and I'm like, yeah, tell that motherfucker picked up a limousine and we'll go down together. Cause I know that motherfucker had, juice to the gills, man.
Whilst Ryback mentioned that Hunter's whole career has been made on steroids. Without them, he doesn't exist in pro wrestling.
I can't say if he's ever been tested or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if he never was. Hunter's whole career has been made on steroids. I grew up watching the guy. Without them, he doesn't exist in pro wrestling. So it's very biased with what they do there and all that, but the policy in itself is, I love it. I wish they had the strictest drug testing in all of wrestling.
Triple H's nutritionist also kinda admitted that he's probably taking small amounts of steroids, but notes that Triple H has never failed a drug test. Guys, girls, do what you want with that information, right? But speaking of Ryback, known as the big guy, Ryback was a popular WWE star in the 2010s. He embodied the classic image of a wrestler, a massive, muscular powerhouse. Despite his imposing physique, he never really connected with the fans, and you can argue there was a brief moment where he was starting to connect with the fans with his, and whilst WWE did try their best to get him there by making him feud with CM Punk, this ultimately led to his downfall. Considering his position within the WWE at the time and him being very green, mistakes were bound to happen. This led to CM Punk to have a deep-hated passion for the big guy, which led CM Punk to mockingly call him
steroid guy, and he's very... I call it like I see it.
Surprisingly, Ryback confessed to using steroids. Ryback's association with PEDs began even before his wrestling career. This was at the age of 19, when a bodybuilder introduced him to that world. From then on, Ryback believed that PEDs were necessary for success in professional wrestling. So, guys, what are you gonna do? I would note that he has gone on to say he has stopped using it though. But the trend of bodybuilders turning into professional wrestlers and continuing to use the juice doesn't seem to have gone away in recent times. In a hilarious turn of events, Braun Strowman's colossal size has led many to wonder if he's been hitting the steroid jackpot ever since his WWE debut in 2015. The speculation reached new heights in October 2020 when Strowman shared a picture on his Instagram story featuring a syringe hanging out near his bathroom sink. Bro, you can't make this up. I knew it! But fear not, for Strowman quickly pulled a disappearing act on the photo and offered an explanation. He claimed that the syringe was simply a companion to his daily B12 shots. And if you thought things couldn't get any funnier, The Undertaker himself came to Strowman's defense in an interview with Joe Rogan, whilst, admitting to his own steroid use. The dead man declared that Strowman's muscles are all natural. Talk about a twist in the wrestling world, guy. I'm kidding. And finally, many people, including former WWE wrestlers, fans, and even bodybuilders, have jokingly suggested that Jinder Mahal must have used steroids to gain such impressive muscle growth and definition upon his return to the company in 2016. But even when Mahal didn't get much screen time on TV, he managed to secure a title shot by winning a match to become the #1 contender. And in a hilarious turn of events, with some assistance from the Singh brothers, Jinder Mahal defeated Orton and became the WWE champion by distracting Orton near the end of the match. Many speculated this was due to the expansion plan WWE had in India, whilst others believed Vince just loved the body transformation and couldn't get enough of it. However, Jinder Mahal was playfully defending himself using the steroids, claiming that his success is solely the result of his dedicated workout routine and commitment to a healthy diet. In fact, Mahal proudly proclaims that he has never once failed a drug test throughout his wrestling career. But come on guys, let's look at the side effects. Let's see if he has any of them. Okay, he has a spotty back, bulging veins, gains, and I believe it's safe to say he may have been on something, as these are common side effects, right? So until that day comes, all the speculation surrounding him can only be seen as good-natured banter. I love all these guys, and we're just doing these videos for fun. With roids, you still have to have a killer workout to have the correct diet. We're not discrediting their hard work. All of these guys are amazing, right? So make sure to like and subscribe. Watch our previous video regarding banned moments in WWE that can never air again.